let's go to Aida Abbashar, who is a Sudanese political historian and analyst. She's speaking to us from Nairobi in Kenya. Thank you so much for your time on this news hour. As someone who's living outside of Sudan, you have been in contact, I understand, with family and friends in Khartoum. What are they telling you right now about what they're seeing and their own experiences?
Thank you. They're telling me that they're dealing with an unprecedented situation. A lot of people's massive concerns are surrounding infrastructure, surrounding having access to medical equipment, electricity, water. With shortages like this in such dire times, it's difficult to access that. And people's concerns are also that there's too much going on around them, specifically with lack of information about what exactly the military is doing versus what the rapid support forces are doing. So there's a lot going on, and many people are even trying to just escape the capital and get to a safe location.
Well, what kind of access to information do people, not just in Khartoum, but the rest of the country, actually have? Because usually in situations like these, we've seen the military cut off access to the internet. But there are still people who have a lot of access to the internet, who are tweeting, who are very active on social media. But what kind of information are they getting?
So people are using social media, as you said, to their benefit. Social media has played a big role in allowing people to communicate with each other, to stay alert as to what's going on in their neighborhoods. And you're right to say that in the past, we have seen that the internet has been cut. What's really different about this time is we're seeing that different forces are using social media to their own advantage as well. So there is quite a large amount of people that are part of either side of this conflict that are using it.
This power struggle that is now playing out between the military and the RSF, was this something that people in Sudan and even the diaspora, was this something that was expected?
I would say that the tensions between both Burhan and Hemeti have been brewing. But of course, nobody expected something to erupt to this scale, particularly in the country's capital. But there have been discussions about the issues that they were facing with security reform, about the inclusion of the RSF as part of the SAF. So a lot of it can be part and parcel of this massive issue of security reform. And I think this is something that Sudanese citizens, specifically young Sudanese protesters, have been discussing or trying to bring forth to the people in the country, as well as the international community, that there is going to be this struggle in between. And so it's just very unfortunate that it's unfolded in the way that it has.
Aida, in this situation, a permanent ceasefire now is desperately needed because the death toll among civilians is just getting higher. Who do you think, in terms of the regional and international community, is more likely to facilitate that ceasefire?
I think the facilitation of the ceasefire has been probably one of the more controversial points. Over the last 2 days, it has been said in social media and publicly that ceasefires were going to be brokered. The first being with the UN coming forth and saying that, and then official RSF accounts coming out and saying that the United States is going to help them negotiate a ceasefire as well. But we can see that that hasn't happened in the last 2 days. And in fact, people on the ground have even said that during moments where ceasefires were meant to occur, even more attacks were happening. But what we see happening now, or what we hope that will happen, is that this dialogue continues in terms of, and this is just for the need of humanitarian needs, right? So people's concern is the safety of their families, of their homes, of their loved ones. So we're hoping that whatever international mediator is able to provide support for a ceasefire, it allows people to go to shelters that are safer.
Is there a feeling or even a consensus among ordinary people in Sudan about who they would rather see come out on top, so to speak, here in this power struggle between Al-Burhan and Hemeti?
Again, I think that people's main priority is their well-being. And again, I'm not one to speak for those that are on the ground and the emotions that they must be feeling. But I will say that what I have seen and what I have heard from my loved ones there is that they just want the violence to stop, and that's their priority at this point.
Aida Abbashar, great to get your views and to hear what friends and family have been speaking to you about going through this crisis right now in Sudan. Thank you so much.